Finally start! 예, 만나서 반갑습니다. 먼저 한국 관객분들께 인사 부탁드릴게요.
Yes, thank you. Again, thank you very much for inviting me to Korea again, even if it's online this time. I had a very good time in Korea. My first time visit was with my last film, Becoming Astrid, and I'm very honored and happy that you have chosen another film that I produced. Thank you very much.
안 그래도 그 프로듀서님께서 참여한 비커밍 아스트리드 같은 경우 올해 5월에 한국에서 또 개봉해가지고 한국 관객도 만나서 아마 이제 이번에 또 이 개막작 차터로 프로듀서님 이름이 알려지면 한국 관객들이 굉장히 좀 반가워하지 않을까 싶습니다.
Thank you. Yes, I'm happy to.
네, 우리도 기쁘고요. 일단 차터가 올해 스웨덴 영화제 개막작으로 선정이 됐는데요. 그래서 굉장히 좀 소감이 궁금합니다.
Yes, I am super happy. This is one of the perks or advantages you get, like an extra winning when the film start to travel, and you travel with it. So the big fight often is to get the film made, and then it is made, and we come to the premiere, and then these films that I make, and also many other people, producers of course, but they start to travel the world, and so this is one of the great advantages with filmmaking. The film starts to travel.
차터는 어떻게 기획하게 된 작품인가요?
We actually started working with Charter when we were in the editing process of Sami Blood, and Amanda and I said, let's make another movie. And we started talking about different subjects. So it was already 2016. We in the editing room in Copenhagen that we started to put the first pieces together for this production.
그 차터에서 다루는 내용이 프로듀서님께는 지금 어떤 지점에서 매력으로 좀 느껴지셨나요?
Yeah, that's a good question. For me, it's very important as a producer to try to fulfill the vision of the director. And Amanda Chanel is a very skilled, even if she's a young director, and Charter was her second film. She's very, very sure on what she wants to do. And Amanda pulled out this story, and it's we had a long discussion about where is the actual drama in our societies today. In Scandinavia, we don't have the war. We don't have people are not. There's not so much drama around people. So where is the drama that she would like to tap into? And then she came up with the idea of doing this a custody case, a separation between parents, and that leaves the children in the middle. So this was a very interesting starting point for a drama. And from that one, we started to pull out the story.
이 영화를 보게 되면 이 극중 주인공들의 이제 심리가 주변 경관하고 굉장히 좀 잘 어우러지는데, 그런 게 눈에 띄었던 게 아무래도 지금 촬영 감독 소피아 올센의 좀 공이 아닐까 싶은데, 또 소피아 올센 촬영 감독님과는 사미 블러드에 이어서 또 다시 이제 작업을 한 거잖아요. 그렇다면 그 지금 소피아 올센 촬영 감독님을 다시 작업하게 된 그런 이유는 무엇일까요?
Yeah, that's very true. About the subject of Charter, could very easily be like we talked about a custody case, a mother and father split up, and you do this anywhere in Stockholm, actually in the suburb of Stockholm. But we said let's instead of doing like a kitchen sink realism in a suburb of Stockholm, we wanted to broaden the scope and find a better scene for this drama to take place. And we wanted it more to be in the style of a Greek tragedy more. So instead of this normal kitchen sink realism that you can see, you could also have done this film in a suburb of Stockholm, but we said, no, let's broaden it. And I could also answer immediately the question about Sofia Olsson, it's very easy to see that Amanda and Sofia found a fantastic collaboration on Sami Blood, where she has this very sensitive follow camera, very close to the actors, and I think she's just outstandingly good DOP, and she's got this very. I think it's also with the language between Amanda and Sofia. Amanda Chanel, the director, and Sofia Olsson. They found a way to work together that there was no meaning of breaking it up. It had worked so well in Sami Blood, and her style of shooting would suit also this film. Would also suit Charter.
아마 그 한국에서 이제 차터를 보게 될 관객분들은 또 이 영화의 그 로케이션도 굉장히 지금 궁금해할 것 같아요. 이게 그 극 중에 보면 알리세의 심리를 따라가는데 초반에는 굉장히 좀 추운 장소잖아요. 아무래도 이제 알리세가 이 자식들하고 떨어져 있기 때문에 그 심리가 반영된 공간인 것 같고, 그런 후에 아이들과 함께 테네리페 섬에 가게 되잖아요. 이렇게 보시면 알겠지만 제가 또 테네리페 섬이 너무 아름다워서 거기에 맞춰서 이렇게 좀 난방을 입고 왔습니다. 그래서 이 로케이션에 기준이 좀 있었을 것 같은데요. 거기에 대해서도 좀 설명을 부탁드릴게요.
Yeah, I will tell you. Both me and Amanda come from the north of Sweden. We like very much shooting up in the north. We want to shoot in the winter. We want to get the winter up in the north, and then we started checking out other locations because we really wanted this contrast, both in temperature and also in colors. And so we were looking into different locations for the shoot where they went with the flight, and we came up with the Canary Islands, and this suited us very well. And it was a long scouting before we found the right place. But the good thing about Canary Islands is also that they have a very good tax rebate. So we could actually add some extra plus in the financing there through the tax rebate, which gives you back 40% actually of what you're spending there. So that was like a bonus. And I can also tell you that Amanda is she's such a thorough director, and she's doing lots of background check, and she's done many interviews with mothers that have escaped with the children, and also men that took the children and escaped. So with lots of background interviews, and actually many of these custody cases where one of the parents take off with the children, one child or more, they go with one of these all-inclusive packages to vacation spot. And many of them actually also went to the Canary Islands. So there's also a bit of truth in this. So it was financial reasons, it was artistic reasons, of course, and also for the documentary reason. It was a small package there. Yeah.
그 프로듀서님 입장에서 또 차터가 굉장히 좀 의미 깊었다고 생각을 하는 게, 그 불도박의 시상식에서 감독상도 받고 또 촬영상도 받고 무엇보다 또 배우 그 연기상도 받았잖아요. 특히 엄마 알리세를 연기한 아네달 토프 같은 경우가 굉장히 좀 인상적인 연기를 펼쳤는데요. 알리세 역에 이 아네달 토프를 좀 캐스팅한 그런 좀 이유가 있을까요?
Yeah, it was a long process again. Amanda, she never gives up, and we were looking at everyone that we could think of in this correct age group and so on. And Amanda had set up some preferences. She wanted to be like a hero female, like someone you want to spend time with. And we were looking at every female actress there was in Sweden in the right age group. And then we started looking at Norway when we didn't find it. So this Ane Dahl Torp is a Norwegian actress, actually. So and she learned to speak Swedish and you can't hear that she's Norwegian actually.
아니 그럼 그 연기를 해서 스웨덴어를 좀 익히는 시간이 있다면 그 기간이 필요했을 텐데 배우에게 좀 어느 정도의 스웨덴어를 익힐 그런 시간을 좀 주신 건가요?
Yeah, it's true. We had her with a dialect coach, and she was practicing. And she's also a super ambitious actress, and she's also and she's also a musician. So she's got this. I think many actresses got very good ear for music and dialects and so on. But I think she's exceptional. So we gave her a dialect coach, and she went and did it. I think she did a lot of online practicing, maybe every day, but I don't know, maybe for 3 months. And because she's so perfectionist on adult, she came and spoke Swedish when we started shooting. She was prepared. Yeah.
그럼 그 여자 주인공도 이렇게 아르넬 세르네 감독의 영화에서 연기상을 받았는데 그렇다면 이 극 중에는 또 아역 배우들도 좀 출연을 하잖아요. 2명의 아역. 그 2명의 아역 같은 경우 이 빈센트와 엘리나 역의 배우들은 어떻게 그 감독님이 그들에게서 연기를 좀 끌어냈는지 그 과정도 좀 궁금하네요.
Yes, it's the same procedure as always. We have a very, very, very long casting process where we also said they have to talk the dialect of the north. So that limits it a little bit more. And so we had a very long process of finding these 2 young people. And the girl, she's also from the Sami, from the indigenous people, where also Amanda is, she's also indigenous Sami. And first we do the casting and the tryout, and Amanda goes there and meets them, and she's doing workshops, several workshops, singling them out. And in the end, there was 2 left. There was these 2 fantastic children. And it was the same thing with the Sami blood. There was also amateurs in the leads, and you get this for the spectator, I think, and from my point of view, you get some extra quality from using amateurs that they can be, of course, extremely truthful, and this is what we are looking for when we make this kind of film. You have to believe it. It has to be. I think Amanda has got this fantastic ear for the truth. That rings truth. When you translate a movie and you can't, if you're from another country, you can see if it's not true, of course, also, but it's more difficult. But for us in Sweden that speak the language, the small differences in the dialogue can really, then you break the code of belief. So it's super important that it's true, and that these children are performing well. But it's also very hard for them to work so much. And the Canary Islands, they have very strong regulations for people under 16, so they can't work a full day. So and the children were in every scene in the film almost. So we had to fill out the days because we were working 10-hour, 12-hour days, and they could only work 6. So it was really a puzzle of making the production run.
그 몇 개 이제 질문에 이 영화의 촬영 과정을 듣다 보니까 와 굉장히 좀 힘들었겠다. 왜냐하면 배우를 캐스팅하기 위해서 오랜 시간 오디션도 보고 그런 배우를 찾아다니고 또 로케이션도 찾고 또 로케이션의 환경에 맞춰서 또 촬영을 해야 되고 거기다 다루는 내용을 좀 사실적으로 진심 있게 다뤄야 한다는 점에서도 어려운 점이 많았을 것 같은데 그럼 프로듀서님은 그 프로듀서의 업무로서 가장 주안점을 둔 부분이 있다면 무엇일까요?
Yeah, thank you. For me, it's really a wonderful thing to be able to work with this kind of films that it's like a handmade car. And to start with, to have a fantastic director to work with, and you know it will be super interesting. And for me, it's so important to have this kind of collaboration with someone that you trust and that you like, and you go out on this adventure together. And you have to like it a lot, because you will be together with this film for at least 3 years. So you have to like it a lot. And this is my way of making films. I have to connect to it really much. And my personal favorite part of filmmaking is actually when you write the script. When everything is possible, and then you start to limit it down, and you have some parameters that you try to put it into, and then I start thinking, how will we finance it, and how can we do this together with other people? But the script, really, that is the most exciting part. Because then it's when everything is possible again, and then everything becomes very practical. And I also like very much. It's really fun to be a producer when you have a good project and you can finance it, because you are allowed to be in every sandbox, and so to speak, and all the different temperatures of the filmmaking. To first to do the script writing, and then to do the financing, pre-production, casting, everything, the actual shoot, and then the editing, and then you come to the premiere openings, and then the festival. So it's a long run with different dynamics. So you have to like the project. You have to, and now, like we're doing today, now we talk about the film still and how you made it. And it's really wonderful for me to recap this. It's because now I remember how nice it was. I haven't thought about it very much lately, but thank you. You made me remember it. It was kind of fun. Yeah.
그리고 그 스크립터를 중요하게 생각하신다고 그래서 이제 하나 더 여쭤보고 싶은 게 뭐냐면, 이 영화의 결말을 보고 아마 많은 관객분들이 좀 깜짝 놀라시지 않았을까 싶어요. 보통 어머니가 아이들의 양육권과 관련해서 싸우는 영화라면 어머니가 그 양육권을 가져오던가 일종의 좀 해피엔딩이 이루어질 거라고 생각을 하는데, 이 어머니가 극중에서 아버지에게 이제 양육권을 넘기는 결말로 가잖아요. 그래서 처음부터 스크립트에 있던 내용인지, 아니면 이 결말을 두고 여러 가지 다양한 또 다른 의견들이 있었는지 궁금하거든요. 거기에 대해서 좀 여쭤볼게요.
Yes, everything was written in the script from the start. And I think you can, if you remember that the film starts with a telephone call. The young son he's calling the mother, and he's afraid. And then the whole thing starts, the whole drama unfolds. She answers the phone, and then she leaves Stockholm, travels to the north to see what's happening to my child. And then the whole drama takes place, and she goes with the children. And at the end, she gives up. She gives up their children for the benefit of their own good. She realizes that she can't at the moment not provide a secure environment for them. And with the last minutes there, when you see she's alone on the beach and she goes out to swim into the ocean, you can think that maybe she's just will swim to her own death. But then you hear a telephone is ringing, very weakly there in the end, and then she turns, and then she swims back, and there's the child calling her. The daughter is calling her this time, and she kind of meets life again, and the daughter just checks in to see if she's good, and how are you, mama? And she sort of, and this you can see, it's the children that keeps the parents together. When you have a child and two children, you sort of pendle between them. And so I think it's a beautiful book ending, that the two telephone calls and the second telephone call maybe saves her. Because this film is very much a story about, is it a shameful thing to be a woman without a child? And how much should you sacrifice for your children? these are questions put up for the audience to think about when we leave the cinema. It's not a therapeutical film like that. It's an piece of art, of course. It's a big question with many parameters, of course. But I think one of the main questions for Amanda was to investigate how far should you go for your children. And there's a little bit of an answer there in the end. Yeah.
균형의 측면에서도 이 엄마 역할과 아빠 역할이 저에게 흥미로웠던 게 보통 엄마가 주인공이기 때문에 엄마가 도덕적으로 옳다고 생각을 하게 가는 영화들이 많지만 이 영화는 엄마도 그렇고 아빠도 그렇고 뭔가 잘못한 것들도 있고 좋은 것들도 있고 그래서 이제 관객들이 그런 도덕적 판단을 하지 않게 설정을 가져간 게 저에게는 좀 특징이라고 생각을 했거든요. 그런 점에 대해서도 좀 중요하게 생각했던 건지 궁금하거든요.
I think also Amanda would like to talk from the female perspective, so it's easier for her to choose the mother then. And it's interesting to make a complex female character. And who is she? What is she? She's like a rock star mother that you can't really blame her. She's also a fantastic person, the character, I would say, the Alice. And so I think it's interesting to flip it around because the concept of the perpetrator is usually that you think it's a man from the Middle East married to a Swedish woman, takes the children and go. That is usually the idea of people who kidnap their children. But it is actually quite often that the mother does it, also in real life. And it was really finding the balance there between the mother and the father, because as you can see when you start counting how many scenes the father is in the film, actually he's very little screen time, so it's very easy to make him the bad guy only. He could be so bad easily, so that was a big, really difficult balance to give him. I mean, I find him a reasonable guy. I could say these things that he says to her, that why shouldn't the child have a safe home, someone to trust and someone to come home to is always there and so on. I find that very reasonable. So, but it was an interesting play to find the balance there with. And to put the mother in the perpetrator role and the father to follow up there. So yeah, I think it became interesting.
프로듀서님의 그 주요한 작품들을 보게 되면 세미블러드도 그렇고 비커밍 아스트리드도 그렇고 차토도 그렇고 여성이 주인공인 또 여성의 삶이 중심에 놓이는 작품들을 주로 해오시고 계시잖아요. 그걸 프로듀서님께서는 좀 일종의 의무감이라고 좀 생각을 하시는 건지 좀 궁금합니다.
I think you give me too much credit in that place, but you see, there's only also female directors actually, but for this is not how I do it. It's where but I like to work with female directors very much. But I do it. No, it's only. I think, of course, it's a complex process. Why and why not this one and why that? But I'm using my quality temperature meter. If it's quality, I find it interesting, and I have this device. I want to make, because I work in a big company also, but I like to do this kind of film that engage and so I always look for quality, and this is my it's not fun otherwise. So it's the quality of the production, the people working in the production, and the quality of the project. That's how I choose it actually. Yeah.
이제 차터에 대해서 이제 많은 얘기 나눠봤는데요. 한국 관객분들이 스웨덴 영화제에서 이제 차터를 볼 때 좀 어느 지점에 중점을 두고 봤으면 하는지에 대해서 설명 부탁드리겠습니다.
My favorite scene is the ending scene. So they have to stay until the end. But it's You will see a Swedish landscape up in the north. That's very particular with this very cold winter that there are sometimes there, and it's very beautiful countryside. And I think that's a part of Sweden that you seldom see in films. And so this is a little bit exclusive and in the inner of the north of Sweden. And I think you could see also that I think many people has been through some sort of divorce. All of us almost has met someone and said goodbye to someone, and when you have a child or children in the middle, it doesn't become this dramatic maybe as in the film, but I think you can sympathize with both main characters, and especially I think this film is also from the point of view of the children. They are always in between, and it shows how much you have to take care of the children, because they are really dependent on the parents. They have to follow, who shall I follow? And they want to be with you, of course. So if you're a parent, you have to be responsible, and because the children, they have to rely on you and your choices. I think we're holding up something for the audience to think about your children.
제가 이제 준비한 질문은 여기까지고요. 이렇게 좀 인터뷰 끝까지 응해주셔서 감사드리고, 굉장히 좀 의미 있는 답변들이 많은 것 같습니다. 그래서 한국 관객분들도 영화는 물론이고 또 프로듀서님의 말씀도 굉장히 좀 의미 깊게 듣지 않을까 합니다. 그럼 다음 작품도 행운을 빕니다. 감사합니다. 땡큐.
Thank you.